Podcast City Network. The Everett Lee Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Everett Lee Show, live on Podbeam live stream on this Tuesday night. Hope everyone's enjoying their Tuesday evening, because I certainly am tonight with my guest here on the program tonight. But first, before I introduce my guest, I want to give a shout out to people who follow the Everett Lee Show on social media: Facebook, Everett Lee Show; Twitter, at the Everett _Lee; Instagram, Everett Lee; and Everett Lee Show's YouTube channel, Everett Lee. And of course, Podcast City Network, your top source for independent podcasting. Be creative, be yourself. Follow them over on podcastcity.net for shows such as the Everett Lee Show, Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast, the Imaginarium. Shout out to them, celebrating their 300 episode. They're one of the first shows on the network, still going strong, 4 years. So congratulations to Scott Colbert and Todd Staruch. And you can follow them on Facebook, Podcast City Network; Twitter, at Podcast City Net; and Instagram, Podcast City Network. Let's get on with this podcast here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, you may have seen him wrestle in MidSouth Grindhouse Pro Wrestling Academy and many other promotions on IWTV. I want to welcome to the Everett Lee Show tonight. He crashed last week at the end of Reverend Ronnie Roberts' podcast, but tonight he's all here. I want to welcome to the podcast none other than Brandon Wolfe.
How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad, man. We were talking just a little bit before we went live, and you were telling me your hectic schedule that you have coming up, man. I can't believe a schedule, man. You're all over the place. You're definitely all over the place.
I have to keep writing everything down like week by week to keep up with just the simplest of Saturdays and Sundays and what I'm doing. And I'm soon to be the weekdays. Wednesday, I'm about to start having a little hand to train some guys on Somerset, Kentucky for Triple Crown Wrestling. It's gonna be a real good opportunity because when I started training, I was very hands-on a little bit with helping guys, because I loved helping people. I loved helping them get to the next stage of getting better, and I like the opportunity of just doing that more with others, and being able to do it again is a real good pleasure of mine.
Yeah.
This Saturday, I'll be in Monticello, Kentucky, for I think the fourth time for ECW, and that'll be fun. The next Saturday is a very big show. Friday, the day prior, Ferguson, Kentucky, is Triple Crown Wrestling, where I get the team with Tatanka, Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie, and Luke Gage.
Luke Gage.
And it's a tag, and it's going to be a fun night. Tatanka will be there. I'm tagging with Myron Reed and Johnny Swinger. He'll be there.
Nice.
And Caverna High School show is the biggest show for UCW. It's their anniversary. It is going to be in Cave City, and it's going to have a meet and greet with Johnny Swinger, Boogeyman, Amazing Marie, the Boogie Woogie, and Victor Bruiser's retirement night, with a little bit of honoring some past people, because it's been going for 26 years, and it's going to be one heck of a show.
It sounds like it. It sounds like one heck of a show, man. It sounds like you're gonna have a fun weekend doing that.
Oh, yeah.
You're excited, aren't you?
You can tell I'm smiling on my face.
You are, man. You are. That's good. That's good. You threw in there. You mentioned Tatanka. I remember Tatanka back in the day. You remember Tatanka? You've seen quite a bit of his matches.
Yeah, in the 90s. And one of the earliest DVDs I had was, remember those little thin, very thin DVD cases, and they would have like very wonky. I think I have the DVD case in here. It's kind of like it showed. It was basically Tatanka taking on One Man Gang. You had the Road Warriors taking on in a tables match. It was them taking on. They were in ECW. They were team. They were like they were before Team TV. They went to WWE and WCW, but they got beat up by the APA real bad.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
APA.
I think Public Enemy. I mean Public Enemy.
Public Enemy. Okay, yeah. I was like, Public APA. They beat everybody up pretty much in their early days. Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird when you have to find all those DVDs and like, oh, I finally got it. Got it somewhere. And they just take forever to find. You realize you're much more of a mess than you think.
Yeah. Do you have quite a bit of wrestling DVDs? You have a collection, good collection there.
I got one DVD from Impact TNA, Battle for Glory 2005. I have a mixture documentary from Bret Hart, Randy Savage, Edge, Batista, and little triple 3-in-1 case of Stone Cold, Brock Lesnar, Triple H, and hearing and watching all those documentaries was really cool. And like the rise and fall of WCW, the rise and fall of ECW, and a little more DVDs as well. But those are some those one I just mentioned, whereas like the One Man Gang, Tatanka, people will look down and it's like, oh, those weren't really two good matches at times. Like, but it was fun to watch them. It was real fun.
I don't own that many wrestling DVDs. I believe I have the one on the Ultimate Warrior. My wife went to go look for that. It was right after he passed away. I think it was the day before he passed away, and I wanted that on Blu-ray. So she ran out to Walmart, and all they had was like 2 DVDs left, and she said I grabbed one. I said that's fine. So I have that Ultimate Warrior one they released, just like it was planned to come out, but him passing away wasn't planned. That was a shock, because I remember it right after WrestleMania. It was right after WrestleMania 30. He comes out on Raw, and he mentions this cryptic message. And then the next day, going to his car, he has a heart attack and he dies. It's like, whoa. And then the DVD comes out, or the Blu-ray. She ended up getting the DVD. And then I have another one, is the one with Paul Heyman, the rise of, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. I have that one. And I think I have like the 25th anniversary or something, like 10 disc set of like Raw. I picked up. I was like, oh, I'll just get this because it just had like all the best matches, collection of them. There's like 10 DVDs, and they go all the way up to, I think it was 2014, I think it is, or 15, somewhere in there, or 12. But it has like from the beginning of Raw to that. I have that, and I have 2 FGW, Future Great Wrestling DVDs, Cold Blooded 2018, and I believe Origins 2 2019. So that's my collection right there. Back in the day, I used to have a lot of VHS tapes of wrestling, like stuff I taped for like WCW Nitro and Raw is War back in the day, and a few other ones. But I lost those. I left them at my friend's house in his basement, and his hot water heater busted. Goodbye.
I remember being a fan of wrestling, not through DVDs, but through VHS tapes. I was watching WrestleMania 19 on VHS tape. This is when I became like the first actual real good fan of wrestling.
Right.
It was WrestleMania 19. I watched all those matches, and that's, to me, the best WrestleMania out of all of them.
WrestleMania 19.
Just the mixture of all those matches in one show. Take away the Undertaker taking on Big Show and A-Train. Then the handicap match. Every match from top to bottom was great. Every match from top to bottom was. I'm not saying the handicap match wasn't great, but when you have Brock and Angle, Shawn and Chris Jericho, Rock and Stone Cold in their third match at WrestleMania, you have McMahon and Hogan.
Yeah.
All those matches. You have that. You're like, put you to the side. Limp Bizkit's singing your song, Taker. We'll put that as a plus. But I watched that. I was amazed. And the match that got me the most amazed was Brock and Angle. And surprisingly, as like the 5A guy today, I love traditional grappling style and getting technical in the ring a lot more now than I used to be. When I was training, I was always the high flyer. Now I'm like, oh, let's go in there and chain wrestle.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good that you mix it up, man. I mean, yeah, the high flying stuff is great. And it's great for spots where you need it to if you're telling that story. But getting technical, getting in the ring and doing some tactical stuff, that tells a really good story.
Yeah, and like the clips that I showed you, like when I sent you all those clips, there wasn't really a lot of those flips. It was a lot of, a clothesline while someone was sitting back against the ropes, charging, and then wham, coming with that, sliding in with that clothesline. When someone's trying to sweep my legs, that back handspring out of it. Because I like those flips, I want to make sense. I want them to help elevate the story. I don't want to just do them because I can flip. If I wanted to do that, I would do gymnastics, which I could have. Not be allowed to do flips in the ring. But for me personally, I want to tell that story. I want to elevate what I do. And everything I need to do has to serve that purpose of in the match. Mm-hmm. Because if I just do flips left and right, and plus I'm in Kentucky and Tennessee a lot, and going up to Indiana, but traditionally Tennessee and Kentucky, it ain't gonna slide.
Yeah,
amazing, but the people you're with are gonna be show off.
Yeah. The chain wrestling and the technical stuff, that's what I like when it gets down to that. When you get a good in-ring technician gets in there and they can tell that really good story and they work on a part, especially when you got the heel, they're working that body part, which I love when I love that, man. And then the Highspots, there's as much as you've been around, what the crowd likes when you go to that town, when you go there, and you pretty much you feed off that crowd.
Yeah, well, Adam Cole said it best when he was doing a interview with Stone Cold. He said, well, he was traveling so much where he got to these towns, he just grew to knowing what these certain people wanted in that town. So he gave them what they wanted, but he also put a blend in where he knew the people that were watching at TV, around the internet. When I saw the matches, they knew what they liked to see, but he mixed it in to make sure the people that were there live, they got to see what they like.
Right. Yeah,
you talk about technical wrestling, Adam Priest, and when New South had their show, it was Adam Priest taking on
you're forgetting.
It was Ring of Honor title. It was your favorite match, Jonathan Gresham.
Yes, Jonathan Gresham. Yeah, New South. Yeah, when Adam Priest took on Jonathan Gresham. Yeah, that right there was my favorite Jonathan Gresham Adam Priest match there. I love that.
I saw it on YouTube and it was awesome. It was actually really good. It was my favorite technical match. If you want to look it up, is and I know you've seen it, but anyone else that wants to, is Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 20.
Yes,
that is my favorite technical match because there was not a lot of those high spots. It was just pure wrestling for 20 straight minutes with a real smart finish.
Yeah. That is where he was defending. It was where he was defending the belt. I think it was WrestleMania.
He defended the WWE Undisputed Championship against Kurt Angle.
Yes.
And it made for that classic WrestleMania main event moment that we sadly can't see a lot today. We can only see pictures of it and glimpses on YouTube, but they'll never show it today on TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they won't show it. They did good, man. They had some pretty good stuff. That's where Kurt Angle put him in the ankle lock and he loosened up his boot, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. He loosened up his boot, and this is why I say just a smart, because you have to be really smart in the ring. You gotta be able to be very critique.
Mm-hmm.
And when he unlaced his boot and Kurt grabbed that ankle and went for a twist, he managed to undo the boot from the foot, and the boot slipped off. He's like, oh, what the heck? And roll up, and you see Eddie's foot just magically roll like under the ropes to have some extra leverage, and 1, 2, 3, just perfect. Angle is just so good. I mean, technically, if you want to watch any Kurt Angle match, you get a classic. Like before WrestleMania 18, when he wrestled Brock, he was wrestling Chris Benoit at No Way Out.
Yeah,
another phenomenal match.
Mm-hmm.
Hard hitting and just technical. There's not a lot of those high flying in there, but they show you that they can go.
Yeah, they definitely could show. Kurt could show he can go, man. That he was great. That I thought he almost broke his neck. Both of them did in that match, him and Brock.
Oh, well, Kurt walked in with a broken neck. Kurt was going in. If you remember the story that Kurt was saying, like he wasn't able to go. Like he was fixing to drop that belt to Benoit, and then just have Benoit and Brock be the main event. But he sucked it up and went that classic with Benoit and had that classic with Brock and let the Brock scary shooting star press dive into the mat. But yeah, it was still a very good match, very classic, and no one's gonna forget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of those that you wouldn't forget because it had the moments. Talking about Angle taking off Eddie's boot there. That's a moment right there. I mean, you may remember he won the match, but you remember him taking off the boot. That was a moment right there. That's what I like about a lot of matches. I remember the moments. You mentioned that before, if I remember. You're about those moments in a match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I was in Salina, Tennessee. I was defending the Southern States Championship against Dyer and Flynn, and the ending of the match. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of how it ended, but not professionally. You know, I'll do whatever's asked. But when the fans saw it, they weren't the biggest fans of it. They want to see him get his butt kicked because he grabbed the grocery bag, placed it over my face when the referee got knocked down, and just choked me out with the bag. And before the referee could see, he threw it out of the ring and choked me out for real. And I lost my belt to the Dyer, and those people were just so mad. The cops showed up. Showed up, and they were about ready to ask a question. We're like, listen, thank God Dyer didn't get arrested, but at some point I plan to take my belt back.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. That's on YouTube. I can look that up, right?
No.
Like
I remember I said about Kentucky on the Deathmatch podcast that Kentucky and Tennessee, they don't like to film matches. They don't like to show. They want you to be there live and experience it.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like that lost gem. You just gotta be there in person to see it.
Okay.
I had some people show me some fan footage. They showed some promos the promo that I did, and some of the matches and pictures. But yeah, some videos is not there. Sadly, I got so infuriated. I was like, no.
Wow, that's I know like a lot of like places don't film and stuff, but yeah. I forgot you mentioned that there on the Deathmatch Wrestle podcast. I've been trying to remember a lot from a lot of the shows and a lot of people I talked to. When I was on Deathmatch Wrestle and he was talking with Mitch Malik again, and I forgot half the conversation we had, and I asked him a question I already asked him before, and he said, "Yeah, we remember I talked about that on on." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry," because when I was filling out the information for this episode tonight, 242. That's the number for this episode. I've done 242 episodes, man.
And that's a lot of times to remember speaking and asking those questions. Like, all right, in this episode, I asked, all right, what is your favorite thing to watch? Or what's your favorite type of wrestling? And I love those technical wrestling. I love that strong style. And Ronnie, we can go in more detail about this if you'd like to, but Ronnie said he likes wrestling at shows where it doesn't have the camera because it has more freedom to it.
Yeah. I know what he means by that, because you have more freedom, because with the camera not there, because in it where you're spending time trying to captivate that audience that's on the other side, but when you don't have that there and you just have the crowd in front of you, it's
easier to feel the crowd and get them interested to show, because you're not just looking at a camera, you're looking really at them. You're letting the audience know that I'm not being filmed, but I'm going to let your eyes be the camera.
Okay.
I'm going to let you people dictate and feel what I do.
Yeah.
And like Tully Blanchard said, you may think what I do is something, but you're going to believe I'm real. I want them to believe him. Salina, we made him believe. And Monticello, we make him believe. And Caverna, I'll make you believe. And no matter who I'm giving in those shows, you're going to be walking away going, God, that was a good match. You're not going to go, man, that was a lot of flips, or that was a lot of this and that. Like, they're like, that was a lot of something. That fur leg dude, that kid, he threw that punch really, I saw the bruise on the guy's jaw. And I want them to believe everything I do. And that, I feel like today is a lost art. And also what you I think we talked a little bit last time, was calling in the ring. And that's where the feeling the crowd is kind of more of a term I use, is when you feel the crowd, you dictate what you can do.
Yeah.
You can have, that's where your psychology really goes up, is when you know what they want and you give it to them, but you work it in. You don't give it to them instantly, but you let it progress. And when the moment it finally shows up, you get that reaction that you want. And you're like, yes. That's why in Grindhouse, I loved my reactions, because it was just genuine.
Right.
There wasn't talks in the back. There wasn't anything to go over. It was just me and him going, what are we going to do? We're going to have fun. We're going to get the reactions we want.
And that's Ronnie Roberts you're talking about there, because I pulled up on IWTV. What I like about IWTV. I want to give a shout out to them, man. Thank you for hosting a lot of great wrestling promotions and showcasing a lot of talent. So if anyone from IWTV hears this, man, shout out to you, man. You've made this person really, really happy the last few weekends with the content you've been putting out there, streaming it live. But I searched your name, and there's only, I think, 6. Actually, 5 matches came up. I watched them. I went ahead and watched them, and I went ahead and I watched something extra too, which I'll finish off here after we go through these here. But yeah, I was looking at IWA MidSouth February Fury. That was on Saturday, February 8th, 2020, last year. That was, or 2 years ago, actually. That was right before everything went to hell.
That was 2000. Yeah. 2020 was the only year I was part of IWA, and until it was I started going from like the first few days into the new year, and then until like probably March. Right. March of 2020, because that's when the world ended, it kind of started falling. And that's the Battles of Super Juniors was the last time I went to IWA.
Okay. Yeah, because I liked the matches. I will say this. I liked the matches. Great wrestling. What killed me about this, okay, I'm being critical about this. What killed me about it is the crowd was dead. The crowd was dead, man. It's like, come on. You guys, especially in the matches that I seen with you, I mean, you're working the crowd. You come out, you work the crowd, you got a little pop here and there, and then as soon as the bell rings, there was some great stuff happening. And I'm sitting there, and every once in a while someone would start clapping, and I'm like, this is a spot where the crowd needs to go crazy. They need to start reacting. And I was like, this is great wrestling, but the crowd's dead. They're asleep. It's like, what is wrong with this crowd? That's what killed me. But
I partially have a reason why that could have happened, because when they go there and they pay to see a show, that first show I went to, one of the matches was Blake Christian taking on David Starr.
Uh-huh.
They were there to go watch Blake Christian take on David Starr. They were interested.
Right.
Probably more interested in seeing some of their names. I think Larry D was there. And Jake Chris was supposed to be there, but he got into a car accident.
Okay.
And I took Jake Chris' spot. I was I'll admit, I'm still am a relatively unknown to a lot of people. And so I showed up, people were like, who's this guy? He's probably from OVW. He's been OVW a few times. And when they saw me wrestle Braden, if you watched Blake Christian and David Starr's match, there were very similar spots in me and Braden and Blake and David's match.
Mm-hmm.
Verbatim were almost the exact same. We were first, they were almost, I think, semi-main event, same spots. Their spots got more reactions than what we did, and we did the exact same thing because they didn't come see us. They came see them.
Right.
We had to work a lot hard to make them understand who we are and like us.
Mm-hmm.
To now going to Grindhouse, there was a little buzz. There was a little more buzz than usual, but I had to work. I had to show, and I had to get people, invested more into me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I successfully and proudly have made a good stand in the Grindhouse compared to IWA.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm just listening to myself here on here. Just something popped up. But yeah, if you come to watch wrestling, man, be a fan, like cheer, boo, get into it. Like someone said to me a while back ago, they said that the crowd, like if you look at like the crowd from like the 80s, how crowds were when talent came out, they were booing and cheering and they were all into it and stuff. The crowd was alive. And now it's like nowadays it's just like they watch, but you do get the crowd that does get into it, man. When you have like a full house, they definitely get into it, man. And
the thing is too, like when they're silent, it's like a festival crowd. It's like being back in training. It gets awkward. Festival crowds are very much the one crowds where it's gonna be silent, and you're gonna have to do more of that technical style and more of that grappling based. The high flying stuff will be really good. You just gotta know what to blend in together. But when it comes down to this, when I was back to IWA, I remember getting some pops and matches. Eventually, it took a while. Mm-hmm. I remember the one match where it was very riled up was with Ronnie.
Yeah. Ronnie, that match right there, the crowd did get riled up, but that, man, you guys put on a great match there. You did. Ronnie did great, and you kind of flipped there because the first few matches, you were heel. You came out as a heel. You worked the crowd. This match, it kind of flipped on you. like, okay, you're the face now. He's the heel, and you guys had some really good ring direction on where you guys went, because he did you guys call it? Did you call it in the ring, or did you discuss like, hey, gonna do this, do that before the match, or did you just call it in the ring?
There was a mixture. But let me explain about the whole. Yeah, I got turned to a dime to where people liked me. At some point, it was my second match. I was wrestling. I think it was like Jacob. It was the Sauciest Man Alive, Lucas Jacobs, and I wasn't much of a. I wasn't snug. I wasn't snug as I am now.
Yes.
As of now, I would probably have been more perfect going to IWA instead of who I was.
Yes.
And Ian hated my strikes. He hated my chops. He hated my punches. He hated my strikes. He wanted me to lay him in. And he was right to think that, because it just looked crap.
Yeah.
And he said, next week you're working Larry D. You're a match with Larry D. And day of the show, Larry had a pulled hamstring and couldn't be there because he wanted to debut in Impact. He was about close to time. He didn't want to, prolong it more. He didn't want to miss it. But I think it was kind of more of a reason. Like, he just wanted to be safe and precautious. And I understood that. So they gave me Ace Perry. And Ace Perry's not liked. I'm not liked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a heel versus heel match.
Yeah.
And I slowly started working more as a face. Slowly started to. And with Ronnie, same thing. He's not liked, and I'm still kind of not liked. They put us together, and the first thing that we were kind of discussing was kind of how it kind of could end, what could it kind of be like, but let's just feel the crowd and see how it happens. And the moment I did those 3 arm drags, when I did the American style, the Japanese, and the Japanese with the flip, the fans flipped, and we were off to the races to restart the whole match and just go with the flow. And the moment the match changed for the better, but after that was when I got clotheslined outside the ring. When I took that shot, and and my hair, people said, like, your back of your head hit the apron. I was like, no, my hair whipped it, and I hit Matt. I got bounced off the ropes. Ronnie clotheslined me, and I hit Matt. And the breath was taken, but I was okay. I was good. I was ready. I was still going. And then the bout of Super Juniors happened. I had Prima Donnie. I would love to have a rematch to prove myself again. Then I had Tyler Matrix. And Tyler asked another rematch I won. And that was something I'm also very proud of. I'm very glad. And IWA, as of right now, that's the last match I had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at these matches here because the IWA was... these matches were great, man. They were great. I enjoyed them. Thank
you.
And then
Thank you.
Especially watching you and Ronnie work, because Ronnie put you over pretty good. And I went ahead... And that same card there, we were talking, I don't know if you caught on when I had Ronnie on last week. We were talking about Hollywood Haley J. Got to see her wrestle on AEW Dark. And the one thing I loved about her match she had was everything flowed so damn good, man. The footing, that's one thing I noticed right there. It's soon, and that girl can sell, man. She could sell. She sold, and her footing right in the same. It's just everything. She was right there at the right time, and the match just went so good. Her footing was perfect for where she was going. It was like boom, boom, boom. The match flowed so good. She sold. She got in some stuff, but she ended up losing. But it was enough exposure, because I would like to see her back on there again on AEW. And then I went ahead and I saw this match here in the description. I said, oh, the IWA Women's Title match, Hollywood Haley J versus Haley Cromwell versus Crowley. I've heard of Alice Crowley before. I've heard of her. I've probably seen one or two matches somewhere with her on a card, but not too familiar with her until I seen this match. It was weird because she came out as the champion, challenging both women. It was like, okay, she's want to be a fighting champion. She could prove she could take both on as champion. Okay, I can buy into that. But she worked good. All three women worked great, man. They worked good in that match, and I could see why Haley J got an opportunity on Dark, which I think it's great, man. And Ronnie did. I told Ronnie, I said, you did a great job with her. You did, and she's good, man. I just wanted to watch that there after I watched your match with Ronnie. I said, Hollywood Haley J. I think I'm gonna watch this one because I wanna see, because she's the daughter of Amazing Maria, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She was trained very well. She's had Ronnie. She's had a lot of people around her. She grew up around the business, and she was taught very well. She was taught how to be very and that's her.
Yeah.
That there's no different persona. That's Haley, and I know there was some controversy about people some people didn't like when she had the Hollywood name, and she had the look that some people didn't like, and I had my questions, but she proved her worth. She proved why she was there. She didn't show out and go something stupid. She busted her tail, and I'm going to say this, she was a lot better than some of the women, if not quite a bit, that they bring, because she proved her worth. And there was a guy in AEW Dark, I think they do their tapings in Universal Studios.
Yeah.
I was wrestling Mike Nakazawa, and God, that was a dumpster fire. that was a bad match, and that's who they bring in. You bring in a girl like Haley, and she's great. She's really good, and people want to talk bad about her until they see her match, and they go, "I'm a fan now. I'm a fan." And you talk bad about her because of the way that she both looked and the way she had a name.
Yeah.
Don't talk bad about someone if you don't ever watch her gimmick. You don't ever watch their matches. Don't ever talk bad about them. She earned her right to be there, and she proved it that night.
Yeah, she definitely did.
And her mom is a tough cookie.
Yeah.
Marie is awesome.
I tried to get Maria back on a few years ago. I tried to get her back on here, but with her schedule and everything, I couldn't get her on the show. I wanted to get her on.
She'll be in Cave City next weekend. She'll be in Cave City for the UCW show. So, and it's always, and the thing there's something that happened during that Battle of Super Juniors night, that she is kind of my mom. She's been around me since my first year wrestling. I had a busted nose, but prima donnie. You know, it's like in the second match of Matrix, I had tape over my nose, and I had a very bad busted lip because at some point in the match with Donnie, I busted my nose by headbutting him by accident because I was trying to make some space, and I got close to him while he was trying to grab me. I was trying to forearm. He was trying to snatch me, and I headbutted him. Ooh. He's got a scar on his forehead. I have a scar on my nose. I feel horrible about it, but I was just trying to make space, and there was no way I was getting that space, so I was kind of have to force it.
Right.
And during comeback, I busted my mouth by freak accident. So I go to the back. My nose is bleeding profusely. My mouth is bleeding profusely. I feel horrible about it, and I'm like, I got my second match. I'm going to prove myself. Right. Because I'm going to admit that first match with Donnie, that's why I'm going to rematch. It's a little rough to watch for me because it was a match where I know it could have been done better. Yeah. But Matrix was it was I proved, I was better than what people thought.
Right. Your move sets.
And you watch all the matches. No matches are the same.
No.
Like no
they're not.
set, nothing.
They're not.
Like every match has something very much different into it.
Yeah, you may have something here or there that you may have used before, but the way the match flows, it's totally different. Because when I watched that first match I pulled up on here because I started from on here it says January 2nd and I went all the way up to February. The last match I watched was with you and Ronnie.
I know the order was Braden Lee,
Lucas
Jacobs. Yeah, Jacobs.
Ace Perry.
Ronnie Roberts. Well, they showed the match with Ronnie Roberts after the Battle of Super Junior, so it would be Prima Donnie, Matrix, and then Ronnie.
Yeah.
But every match is different. The only thing I probably did was the same was the Swing Blade Black Stabber and the 3-arm drags. That's probably the only thing I did twice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great just watching all those, man, because I said to myself, I said, where's the New South stuff at? Where's the New South stuff? Because that's one I was looking for. I was trying to look for some more New South, and I didn't see it on there. And I was like, wow, do I have to go to YouTube to see this? And I looked. It's hard trying to find some of your matches, man, because you got to find.
It is so bad. It's so hard.
It is.
Like I try to be very, best I can. It's Action Plus. It's on Action Plus.
Okay.
It's the very first match that you watch, and I had Shoot Taylor, a 5-minute match, and it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This where for the first time that missile dropkick got recorded, and that match is different from IWA.
Right.
Nothing there is the same.
Right.
But you see one very thing better, and that is I have a lot better control of that crowd reaction. Like I said, get what I need. After that drop kick where I land on my feet on the mat, it looks impressive because it looks like a gymnast could do it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I had my arms raised up and I waited for the reactions and they gave it to me, I got booed off. I got booed out of the building by a shoulder block. I gave a shoulder block impactfully, feet to chest, yell, and the crowd gave it to me.
Oh man, that's.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to the match and
yeah, please
watch it.
Please.
And I'll send you more links like the matches with Cash and Grindhouse,
mm-hmm.
and let you watch that and let you, feel for it. And it'll be a little long with Cash because it's more than 5 minutes. It'll be like a 15-minute, 20-minute matches, but they're really good.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to ask you about New South. How is that? Because I watch it on IWTV. I go on there and I'll watch the matches from New South, and I hate to say it, I get a little picky about it because if I don't see someone that I know on there that week, I kind of like skip it because I want to watch someone I know I'm familiar with, because I'm pretty much a fan of whoever they show. But I said to myself, I said I'm cheating myself out because I'm probably missing some good matches, so I should probably just watch it and just take a look, because from what I watched from New South, you get the champion. That's great. Why am I forgetting his name? It's funny because like the belt's bigger than him, man. Like
how I forgot Jonathan Gresham. It's Adam Priest, but now you got
Perez. Adam Priest is the champion. Did he win the belt?
No. I know you're talking about now. I know you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah. I think it's Perez or something.
Yeah, Perez. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how he got the championship, man. I'm trying to figure that out, man. I'm like, wow.
How does he carry around with him?
He does. He does. I was hoping at Southeast First, I was hoping he was going to lose that title. I was hoping he was going to lose it because I didn't want to see him lug that, gold around any much longer, because a lot of people want to see him lose it. I know they want to see him lose that title. I'm one of those guys. It's like, give it back to Adam Priest. Adam Priest, when he was champion, he was great, man. I liked what I seen out of Adam Priest as champion, because he came out there. His style reminds me of like Benoit. He does remind me of Benoit. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
I noticed that instantly when he wrestled Johnson, and when I was there, the person that I call kind of an uncle or kind of a pops too. I have a lot of pops in wrestling, but one is Derek Neal.
Yeah.
Derek, New South, former two-time New South champion, and really good. Like, he reminds me of Stan Hansen a lot. He reminds me of Stan Hansen with a mixture of Terry Funk.
Mm-hmm.
And just awesome. And without him, I probably I wouldn't have the opportunity at New South.
Yeah.
Because, but if you watch all those matches, and like you said, like you were skimming through, going through it all, there's talents that you will dismiss. And that's kind of the mentality that, we talk about the IWA crowd being silent.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they were going through, in real life time. They're like, well, we gotta get through this match first. And then we can see our match we came here to see.
Yeah.
And you'll miss talent like JDX was part of Action Plus on YouTube, the same one that I was on, and he wrestled a guy from Ireland, and they had a real good match. There was probably one little slip, but it was good. Dude, those guys, they bust their talents and they show what they can do, and it's really good to just watch all the talent to see where they could go in the future, and you can watch them there like, oh, I see him at the start, and I could see him grow more and more, and I'm just amazed at what I'll see next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love watching New South. Especially they're like when they have their special events that's like 2 hours, when they throw in a lot of great matches. I believe that one I'm trying to find here because I'm on IWTV right now on my web browser. I'll tell you one thing I like about IWTV is when I sign into my Google Gmail, and when you go and look at scheduled live shows, I've been putting them up on what do you call it? Oh, David C. Russell. Shout out to him. He messaged me. I'm not surprised. Sounds horrible. What sounds horrible? My podcast better not sound horrible. But audio?
That means me.
What do you mean?
Probably means me.
Does Brandon sound bad? Or do I sound bad? He ain't responding yet. I don't know if you can hear him chiming in.
I can hear a few of the dings,
Yeah.
dings.
Yeah, he messaged. He said audio sounds bad. That's probably why people jumped off earlier. It's echoing and skipping. How is that possible? Wow. It's probably the way I got my setup. That's probably why people's
It's not your usual way. It's not your usual way this time. It's a little different from last time.
Yeah. Well, David let me borrow his StreamYard. That's why. But I'm recording this audio, this video part. This is going to sound out great. It's echoing and skipping. How is that possible? We did a test run the other night. Everything turned out great. I don't know what it is, but
yeah, let's just keep going through, and we can keep on.
The show's still going to go on.
Forward. Yeah.
Yeah, show's still going to go on. So I don't know, David.
We can talk about anything for 3 hours because, like,
yeah,
I think it took almost an hour just because we're just talking about the DVDs and everything, and we're just having fun
lagging
talking.
bad.
It's just a casual conversation.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'll just do? I'll just end the live audio and we'll just record this. What do you say?
No, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. The live audio is
Anyone
ending.
if
Take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive more into the conversation right here. But first, there's a couple things I do want to mention.
Keep up with the latest shows and content from Podcast City Network over on podcastcity.net. Follow them on facebook.com/Podcast City Network, Twitter @PodcastCityNet. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Podcast City Network, and on Twitch, Podcast City Network. Podcast City Network, your top source for independent podcasting. Be creative, be yourself.
Whether it's a sticker for your car, a t-shirt for that special someone, or a neck garter to keep safe during COVID-19, Podcast City Network has you covered. Grab the latest PCN gear today at podcastcity.net/shop to show your support for your favorite show or shows from Podcast City Network today. Want to start a podcast? Trying to grow your current show? Podcast City Network is here to help. We currently offer services for social media advertising, marketing, live stream hosting, custom logo design and branding, transcript services, custom intro and outro videos, audio-video editing, press kits, one-on-one consultants, and much more. So don't wait. Contact us today. podcastcity.net/services. Head over to the website, fill out the form, get in contact with Podcast City Network. Have you ever wanted to start a podcast but didn't know how? Do you already have a podcast but you don't know how to grow it? Are you trying to find ways to make your podcast profitable? You can learn how to do it here at Podcast City Network. We offer consultant services, tutorial classes to help with learning to better expand your knowledge to grow your show. We also give access to our network of shows to help with cross promotions, guests, and overall reach while becoming a part of our ever-expanding PCN community based on people helping people. The best part is no membership fee. So what are you waiting for? Fill out the contact form below right here over on podcastcity.net/join now and sign up today. Podcast City Network, your top source for independent podcasting. Be creative, be yourself.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
What occurred was my mom and my dad just driving, and my mom just wanted to figure out some tests. So she wanted to figure out if something was kind of wrong, because I was not developing right. For 18 months, I was way behind schedule. And she kept wanting to do things. She kept trying to do some more tests. She kept trying to think, is it autism or is it something? So she was realizing that I had sensory defensiveness, so all my senses were acting very negatively. I couldn't eat ice cream. I couldn't have peanut butter sandwiches. I couldn't have anything smooth or have, a lot of noises around me because I'd just freak out.
Mm-hmm.
She would try to bring me to the malls or stores, and I would just hate it. I would just hate being around everybody, and I had massive social anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
And my one exit was wrestling. When I went through all that therapy, wrestling was the thing that helped me get through so much of it. When I was breaking down and I just didn't want to continue, wrestling helped me continue.
Yeah.
When I watched all those DVDs and CDs and matches, Everett was a massive inspiration because I just kept watching, and he was one of the guys that kept popping up and amazing me, like him and Rey Mysterio. And when I was 6, I was barely talking. I only said one sentence when I was 6 years old. My first sentence was when I was 6. And it was just very poorly said. I just said, "I see spider." And I was growing a little bit of motor functions. I had, a tiny bit, but no, not real big muscle tone until I got into junior high. But when I was young, I just wanted to be a wrestler. I was always playing wrestler. I was always picking up pillows and toys and pretending they were my opponents, and I just wrestled them around. And all of a sudden, I was wanting to go to shows because I never asked for anything. The only thing I asked for was tickets for wrestling shows that were coming in town because I the only ones that were coming were WWE and TNA. Because in Monroe, there wasn't an independent scene going on. There was maybe one in West Monroe, but I couldn't really see much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And TNA helped me get back watching wrestling on a weekly basis. I watched TNA in 2006. I actually watched TNA more weekly than WWE.
Yeah.
And I was loving TNA.
Was that the Asylum years when they first started out? Yes. Okay.
When they were on Spike TV.
Yes.
I was watching that, and I'm very happy to know that throughout my wrestling journey, Chase Stevens was one of the guys I've had the massive pleasure to be around. And, I eventually got over a lot of things. My social anxiety, my time to, be able to talk to people and be around others.
Mm-hmm.
But it took so much out of me just to even try. And the hardest thing to do for me really was to grow some stability, to grow some muscle tone. When I got into football, I tried, but I couldn't. I really started growing muscle when I started moving to Kentucky, and I was in a very depressed state. My family life was it was almost in shambles because my stepdad and my mom were going through a divorce, and family was almost split in half. During my brother's wedding, my dad just offered me a chance to come live with him in Kentucky. There's a wrestling school 30 miles away. It's my choice, and I chose to move, and I busted my tail end to get a job, and I got one, and I worked my tail off to do everything right for the state Kentucky license. I did, and when I started training, my goal was to inspire kids the way I was inspired. That's why when I wrestle, I always have my puzzle piece with me, because the symbol for autism is puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
And the color for it mainly is blue, and that's why on my arm I have a blue puzzle piece key, because that is, for all these years, has been my key to inspiration.
Right.
And I want to inspire kids just like how I've inspired.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm very proud a lot of times going to shows, and a lot of times I hear kids, believing in me, and they get inspired, and I'm like one of their favorites. So people can have journeys and goals what they want in wrestling. I've done what I want, and I'm very happy, and I'm going to continue doing what I want to do, and that's inspire kids.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about: inspiring and doing what you want, and being a face. That's you're getting booked at a lot of places being a face, because I know when you're a heel, it's hard to sell merchandise, but some heels can manage selling merchandise. But as a face, you're twice as I don't want to say lucky or better to sell merchandise.
I get booked more as a face, but when I was booked as a heel for the first 2 years,
mm-hmm.
I wasn't a proper face till like. If I was a face, I was under a hood. I was under a mask.
Right.
But until then, I was just a heel. But I had to change because I was being liked everywhere I went. I was like the Big B, to the point where the faction I was part of, they wanted me to break away from me because, actually I wanted to break away because I noticed my reaction. I was like, we can do something with this. Let's do it.
Yeah.
They weren't into it, but I was like, let's try. Let's see what's the worst that's going to happen.
Uh-huh.
The crowd gave us the reactions we wanted, louder than anybody else in those shows.
Right.
And New South, I had the biggest pop making a debut with the tag team partner, but we kept calling us heels and then face heels. But I was mainly being used as a heel because I can get, I actually liked getting my boot out the building. Because I kept my autism a secret throughout all the time because I wanted to show, I don't need my story to be a way to get over with the crowd. I want to show I can do both. I can be a bad guy, and I was good. And I got booked as a bad guy. I still got booked a lot, just like being a face. I got booked the same. But now it's like there's elevations to it. I have a motive, and now I'm just as busy, if not probably a little busier, but it's still really good.
Right. So, yeah, ain't it being fun being the heel, because you get away with a lot more in it.
I remember I gave my funnest thing I did was during Christmas show, I threw presents into the crowd and all the kids grabbed them. They opened the presents. There were boxes of nothing.
Wow, that's bad. That is bad.
Dead.
They wanted to kill you, didn't they?
All those parents wanted me killed too. And what stepped through the curtains in that same show was a power lifter, a behemoth of a man, and he threw me.
Wow.
I tried to do a springboard short block and he didn't budge.
Right. Man, that's wow. Bring the heat. You brought the heat, didn't you? That you're doing your job as a heel when you have half the building or all of everyone that wants you dead before you can get out of that arena, man. You're doing your job. So that's I like it.
I've been in buildings where we have been booed out of the building to the point where the next show we couldn't even grab a microphone and talk.
They wouldn't let you.
They wouldn't let us speak. No, they wouldn't let us.
They wouldn't let you. You see, that's good. That's good right there. That's good right there, because you got that heat though. But now things are different now. Your face, you're getting booked all over the place, and in different promotions and stuff. And Grindhouse, I didn't check out Grindhouse. I need to check out some Grindhouse. Haven't checked it out yet. I follow them on Facebook, and I looked at a couple promos on Grindhouse, and I liked what I seen. But like when it comes to like knowing now that Ronnie Roberts plays a hand in Grindhouse, he plays a pretty big hand, don't he? Because I'm interested to watch more of it now and see what he does, because I was already impressed by what he does though. But when he says he has a hand behind the scenes on Grindhouse, I'm like, I want to see more now.
Yeah, it's him and Too Tough Tony. Too Tough Tony owns the building, but he has a big hand in it too. And Ronnie, for being as good as he is, he's doing his best, and he's done a great job elevating us to get better and moving, so we can put butts in seats and build for the next show. To where big names don't really need to be there as much, because we can bring those people in for them.
Right.
We can always pack that house in on our own.
Yeah.
And we can keep getting them the reactions that they want to have, and they want to be a part of the show, and we allow them to be. That's the main goal I always have, is to let them be a part of the show, because they pay for that ticket. Let them enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you right there. I totally agree with you. Yeah, I'm looking up at Grindhouse here. 4 days ago, it said the return of Rhino. There's Billy Starks. Wow. Talking about someone, man. Her and Sam, why am I forgetting his name? I had him on my podcast a few weeks ago. Sam Stackhouse. They're starting to gain some momentum now.
Yeah.
They are.
Grindhouse does that to you. Going to Grindhouse will do that to you.
Mm-hmm.
But she's earned it. She's earned everything. She's busted her tail end. She's traveled everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
She's still a junior in high school.
Yeah, I interviewed her a few years ago, and on my iTunes, her episode is the most downloaded episode on my iTunes. It's the second most downloaded episode when I had her on, Billy Stark. and I've been wanting to try to get her back on the talk more, but she's just all over the place, and it's hard. I was surprised that David got her back on his show, and I was like, wow, that was stroke of the luck there for you, because you see her all over Facebook just getting booked different places. And since this question's on my mind, I just thought about it here, Brandon. Have you wrestled against women in the ring before? Have you done that?
Nope.
No.
I'm a Cajun, man. I do not.
If you had to, would you?
That is a very bold question.
I mean, you see it pretty common now.
I know it is now, but I was told by my trainer, that there has to be approval first, and it has to be for a really good reason. And I know it's getting bigger, but I was always taught, just don't put my hands on them.
Yeah.
Don't put my hands on women, and I still have the feeling now, like I would not feel the same way if I would, go out there with a woman and put my hands on her.
Mm-hmm.
I have stayed an idea where if I do, I'm in my street clothes, which are the pants I wrestle in, but the fur leg's not on. I might have some dress pants, or I might be in a suit, and I just wrestle, but I'm not gonna put my hands on them.
Right.
But
right.
It's something where I'm gonna. If I was in a match with a woman, I would really struggle, because I would have to fight the urge of, trying to, but I'll be like, nah, I can't.
Yeah. Well, what about mixed tagged? Say you were in a mixed tag match.
Oh yeah, I can do that, because I can let her deal with her, and I can deal with the guy.
Yeah, but every once in a while that usually don't happen during those mixed tag matches, because then you have one of them decides it's like, I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna take a shot at the guy, because that usually ends up happening, where it is when they have the tags, guys get out and women come in, if it's like that though. But when
you see me put my hands on a woman like that, like to get a repercussion, I'm gonna be yelling at the top of my lungs, "I'm sorry, mama."
Because there's promotions where the women get in there and lock up with the men there, and put on matches and stuff. I mean, like FGW. One of my favorite Shauna Reed matches is with Logan Blackheart for the Super Zeta Memorial Championship. They were in the finals, both of them, and both of them trained under Super Zeta. He was a big influence on them, and they tore the roof. They blew the roof off. They tore the house down. That's what they did. They tore the house down wrestling, and it was one hell of a match. But I look at some people are like, yeah, I'll get in the ring with whoever, just put on a match is one thing, but some people don't feel comfortable about it and stuff. You don't feel comfortable about it. You don't feel comfortable about it. I mean, like, yeah.
You can mark me as a guy that's not comfortable about it, because I just want to feel right. I just would not be okay, and some people would have a problem with that. I stated this on Twitter a few years ago. Like, you can mark me as a bad guy for not wanting to do it, but don't criticize me because of the reason. I was born in Louisiana. I was raised in Monroe. I was taught certain things, and I have kept it. I never put my hands on women. Never. And I never will, because I was always taught, if I ever do, I will knock it off the floor.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't feel comfortable with it. You don't, mean, right there. Yeah.
But if they were trying to tell me, oh, you can be wrestling Ruby Soho, I'm like, I got to think about that. But I'm like, I still probably wouldn't feel right. You put me up with, like, if you put me up with Billy Starks, I would be mortified. I'll just say no, because nothing against Billy. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like like unlike Ruby, I've been around you a few times. I've seen you a little bit in person, and I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah. If it was me, I would definitely put them over. I would job. I definitely would, just to put them over. I feel like, that's just me.
Oh, but also no, I wrestle in Kentucky and Tennessee, and that really affects what I do here.
Yeah.
Like I wrestle in Tennessee and I wrestle in Kentucky a lot. If I go out and wrestle a woman, it's not that. It's like I wrestle for very kind of really old school promoters.
Right.
Really old school. That really affects you.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy that went to go wrestle. He was already blackballed in Kentucky, but he went to go wrestle in New Focus Wrestling. Wrestled woman, lost to her. Has been seen in Kentucky's ground since, because after he lost to her, how can he elevate him? Who can he beat? Who can he reestablish himself with? Because the person he lost to was like almost twice, like he was twice her size, almost 3, and just like you can't build up after that happens, because you're around a locker room of some legit badasses,
right?
Of some legit tough guys,
right?
And the moment you go in there,
that's it.
Lose to, not saying the opposite sex is bad, losing to, but the perspective of losing someone a lot tinier than you, or a little bit, it makes self-doubt to where like there's no way you can beat me. It's like when Stone Cold, like the best example is like when Stone Cold was getting ready to wrestle, it was Sable's husband at the time.
Oh yeah, Mark Marrow. Yeah, I remember Mark Marrow.
Yeah, Mark Marrow.
Mark Marrow.
Marrow wasn't getting over as Sable, so they decided to have Sable powerbomb Mark Marrow.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold called you off and said, "Well, who am I wrestling? Because it ain't gonna be this guy." In Kentucky, that's the same type of rule.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Kentucky it's all bad, but there's tradition and still in that Southern pride of you don't put your hands on a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do and you lose,
yeah,
good luck, find some work.
Yeah, since I'm trying to find it right here. I'm back on IWTV. Ruthless Pro. Have you heard of Ruthless Pro?
I think I've read the name a handful of times, but I haven't looked too into it.
Yeah,
probably.
Ruthless Pro. They had a match. Now, this is crazy because this weekend when I was watching, what was I watching? Huh. Okay.
I think you said New South a little bit.
I was watching. Now, I was watching. Okay, this was Saturday. Freelance Underground was on, and Ruthless Pro was on at the same time on IWTV. And so I have a dual monitor set up, Brandon. So on this monitor over here, I had my social media stuff up, Twitter, had that stuff up. Over here on this monitor right here, one I got you on right here, I had 2 browsers up. Separate browsers of Freelance Underground and Ruthless Pro together, and I'm watching 2 wrestling events going on at the same time. And David calls me. He's like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I said, "Watching wrestling." And I flipped my phone up, and I was like, "Yeah, check this out." And he's like, "Dude, you're watching 2 matches at the events at the same time?" I said, "Yeah, I got dual monitors, dude." I said I could pull a third one up if I wanted to. And then what I did was I said, now, if I wasn't on social and it was just me, I said, this is what I did. So I backed up and I was like this on this monitor I had one event going on, and on this monitor I had another event going on, and I got the volume set just right where you could hear something, but when someone would start talking or something, or on the stick, I'd mute the one so I can hear what they're saying, and keep my eye back and forth and stuff. I mean, is that crazy or what?
It is, but you also got to think, back in the 90s, people would buy 2 TVs to watch Nitro and Raw at the same time.
Yeah. So it's not that crazy, me airing 2 wrestling events going on at the same time.
But what about Ruthless caught your eye?
Well, it popped up on the thing here, because I went to go watch Freelance and Ruthless Pro was on, and I was like, what's that? So I went in the description. I was reading the description. They had what was it? Big Joe versus John Wayne Murdoch. I'm like, okay. And then you had Hoodfoot versus Tommy Vendetta. I was like, Hoodfoot, I remember watching him this last weekend at GCW against Matt Tremont. He had a hell of a match against Matt Tremont. I said, I gotta check this out. So I watched it. I flipped it over there and I started watching it, and I had it on at the same time, and I'm watching him swinging light tubes and everything. And I said to myself, wow, this is some crazy shit, man. I was like, this is great. And then I flipped it over looking at Freelance, and I was watching over there for Freelance, because I'm trying to pull it up right here, because I have oh, come on, let me go over this way. It won't. There we go. The arrow's hid like right there. All right, the standalone. Okay, there's Prestige, which I watched. Where's Freelance? Come on, I just seen it here. There it is, right there. Breaking the Chains. That's the other one I watched. Freelance Breaking the Chains. They had, what was it right here that caught my attention? You had the FU Independent Championship match. You had Storm Grayson versus Laney Luck, and then Sky Blue versus GPA. Dude, that was pretty damn good. Last weekend when I watched Sky Blue wrestle against Anthony Green at Black Label Pro, there's a reason why she's on AEW, man. There is.
She's really good.
She is.
I remember meeting Sky Blue before she blew up.
Yeah.
She was in a place called Premier Pro Wrestling, and my first night there, I was wrestling Matt Vine in a 30-minute match, and it's on YouTube. He jumped up and his body landed right on my nose. My nose got busted. And I felt so bad because someone had to clean up the blood off the apron, and it happened to be Sky.
She cleaned it up? Wow.
I think that's what I said, because I remember the next time I was there, she said, I don't want to clean it up again. I was like, you won't have to.
Is that what she said?
I think so.
Yeah.
But my dad, oh my God. I brought my dad with me, and we all went to go eat after the show. And Sky and I are sitting right next to each other. And I thought, oh, this is really good. This is a really nice time. I like up to these people. And my dad just blurted out, I told this to Sky's mom, I think Sky and Brandon would be a cute couple. I was like,
don't you hate when parents do that? They try to hook.
I was like, oh, I want you dead.
She reacted probably the same way, like you did, didn't she?
No, she was probably. She was. We weren't when it goes wrestling. It's like when it comes to the other sex, I try to not be very interested. Business. Was there a piece of me that was like, she's really pretty and she's really good, and and I'm like, no, because I respectfully.
Right. exactly. You got respect for the business. I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah, and I have a girlfriend, and I'm very happy to be with her. And I'm like, I love her. I love my girl.
That's all that matters, man. It is. But parents like to do that. They definitely like to do that.
I was like, I still laugh about that because I'm like, only my dad will do that with me. And now it's funny because it's Sky. Not saying it's too like, oh, it's just Sky. Huh? It's like just where she is now. It's like, well, that's who it was with. Huh? I'll be darned.
Yeah. It's like Edge and Beth Phoenix.
Yeah.
They worked together in WWE, but they didn't actually do it. They didn't actually run into each other and hook up until after wrestling. Both of them were out of wrestling. Edge was retired. She retired. And then, look what happened. But that was funny. Or not funny, but I thought it was interesting for the fact that they both worked together at WWE. And then after the careers were over, they hooked.
Let's just go. What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. And everything turned out fine. But
yeah, they have a great family and been together ever since.
Yeah, what I was getting to with Ruthless Pro, you had Madman Pondo versus Mickey Knuckles versus Neil Diamond Cutter versus Otis Kogar. Mickey Knuckles, she was in that match. There was so much going on in that 4-way match, Brandon. Dude, she picked up a damn cinder block and used it. Wow.
Mickey is a treat. Mickey is interesting.
I never seen anything like this before.
I was very much had the honor of wrestling that 30-minute Ironman match with Cash Jackson, with her at ringside taking pictures.
Right.
And one of the moments where I was on the floor outside just laying, I'm just taking in everything, the pain and just the crowd. And all of a sudden I have this camera in front of my face. I feel it. I just look over. I'm like, it's Nikki. It's Mickey Knuckles. Like,
taking a picture.
Smile. She didn't say, but if I could feel like a mom, I was like, smile, honey.
That's great.
Like, don't laugh. Don't laugh. It's like, don't crack a smile. I didn't, but I was like, she was really nice. She was really nice, to meet there in Grindhouse. And she's one of like, she's legit. She's someone you don't want to mess with.
Yeah. After what I seen there, I said to myself, wow, this is something. But the Prestige Wrestling, actually, I don't feel bad about how my stuff junked up here tonight, because with going live and then just the audio just messing up, and I don't get that because I did a test run over this weekend with David, and everything sounded perfect. I don't know what the hell happened though, but I was watching this here. Their stream messed up. It went out, it was down, it came back on. Commentary cut in and out, and the footage wasn't HD. And someone was joking on Twitter and said, "Hey, you want to know what VHS wrestling was for us back in the day? Take a look at the stream." But you can still watch what was going on. But this card was pretty good, because the Devil's Playground match with Vinny Marsora versus Drexel. That's the skewered pizza to the head. Dude, I've never seen anything like that before. Nothing like that before. Man, I'll tell you what. Let's see. There you are. Here's what I'm going to do for you. I am going to share my screen. I want you to see this. I want to share this with you. All right. You're looking at my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to play this video. Okay. Let me know if you can hear the volume. Let's see. No, I don't want to see New Texas Pro right now. I'll go back and watch it on demand. Thank you, IWTV, for reminding me about that. But
yeah, New South has their show tonight.
Yeah, that's right. They do. Let's see.
It's Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. No, don't it come on Wednesday night? Didn't it come on Wednesdays?
No, they've always done Tuesday.
Oh, they done Tuesday? I thought it was
they've always done their shows on Tuesday.
Okay.
Happy to be here. I feel like I'm just following you around at this point.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to find the match, but they always do their stuff on Tuesdays, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it involves New South, they have their shows on Saturdays, but the IWTV shows, it's always on Tuesday. And the Action Plus, it will be on YouTube.
Okay.
So think of Action Plus as the pre-show to Action Clash.
Okay. All right.
But I saw a BSK. I saw a Billy Starks brand flag.
What's that?
Throughout the time warp, I saw the Billy Starks brand flag.
Yeah, they were advertising. They did intermission stream on here. Like when they're doing a stream, sometimes depends on who it is. They'll do a intermission, and yeah, they were advertising Billy Starks on here.
It's day one.
See if I can find this. Oh, here we go. All right, he got the.
What was that?
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever it is, Massaro didn't want to feel it.
Yeah, he has the.
That's when he's got him up in a torture rack position.
The skewers. Oh, right in the thumbtacks.
The burning hammer.
Let's see
drives the entire anatomy
if I can get that.
Into the thumbtacks.
Where is the pizza to the head?
And
Oh, here it is. Right here. Right here. Okay. Let me back it up here.
Crap should know. Stop himself. Oh, no.
Okay. To the chair. I think, yeah.
That's poetry.
So they're tearing each other up, man. Drexel, he's my new favorite like twisted wrestler. When it comes to twisted wrestlers, this guy's my favorite now. Just the whole persona and gimmick of this guy. I wouldn't want to get like mess with this guy in a bad way. No, look. He's calling for a Little Caesars pizza.
Little Caesars, pizza. Do not ruin a perfectly good pie. Well, it's Little Caesars. I mean, it's really
Yeah, he calls for a pizza.
Yes, it is. First you plug him and then you bury him. Pick a side. Hot and ready.
See that? Skewered.
It's gonna be skewered to Vinny Massaro's face. It's hot. It's ready. It's attached to Vinny Massaro's head. Oh my God! The skewers have connected a slice of pizza. Perhaps the first time in his life, Vinny Massaro doesn't want pizza that close to his face. To the human skull.
Look at that.
Quick skewers. Drexel looking maybe DDT. Driving those skewers even farther. Vinny, I think just realized what happened. Huge close eye. Ouch! Pulling him out, man.
You see that, man? You ever seen anything like that?
No.
Ain't that crazy, dude?
You gotta know where I was trained from. I was trained in tradition. I was trained in, death matches were never really our type unless we would build to it. We want to build that match, like a strap match or a hardcore match.
Yeah.
Like, it's rare to see. It's rare to go to shows, the cage matches too. But death matches, it's never been my cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's never been my cup of tea of watching. I love and I have respect for guys that do it, but in reality of what I've always been taught and what I always wrestle as and will be is death matches are not my, like, it's like mixed matches. It's not my forte.
Yeah.
But death matches, I want to have a story to it. If it comes to women's match, if it involves the right story to it, I'm open to it.
Yeah. I've seen matches that basically everyone, they get in there and they like want to beat each other down. But I've never seen anyone take a skewered pizza to the head, man. That's a new one.
I've seen the shot, the syringe needle through the cheek. I've seen weed whacker to the stomach.
Wow.
And that was CCW, and I was like, oh. I think Sigmondo was the guy to do it.
Yeah.
You got that weed eater and just right in the person's stomach.
Oh wow.
Oh, it was brutal to watch. But and watching, I watched Dark Side of the Ring, and I love that show.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while.
I watched the deathmatch stuff and watching like how they were good. The most watched episode that I go back to is Nick Gage.
I didn't see that one.
That's a really good one. Nick Gage is that's a really good one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get over the fact that, when he said, stop, drop, and roll. Yeah, this shit don't work. Yeah. Because if you look in the video, he doesn't stop, drop, and roll. He just rolls like Donkey Kong and just proceeds to still be on fire. He says, yeah, that shit don't work. You gotta stop, drop, and roll. There may be some glass while you roll, but the fire will stop.
Right. I watched quite a bit of the ones.
It's like their timeline, and plus it's like the season 2 and 3 are almost like the same as how they placed it, because Chris Benoit was in the beginning of season 2 with a 2-parter. Brian Pillman was a 2-parter in the very start. The next one was New Jack in season 2. And the next one was Nick Gage in season 3. And I think if you put down two guys that, if you would put down their prime as deathmatch and just balls to the wall guys, I would love to see them in their primes. Nick Gage taking on New Jack.
That would be something there, man. New Jack and Nick Gage.
That leads to a question. If you could put two people in their prime to see how the match would be, who would it be?
That's a good one. I would like to see. Shoot, man. Here we go. Oh man, you got me on this one.
I got a few.
You got me on this one. I'm looking up at my wall of people I have up there. I got
Kurt Angle in 2005 taking on Ken Shamrock 1998.
98 Shamrock versus 05 Kurt Angle. Dude, They would tear it up.
My favorite, I always had this for years, 1996 Great Muta taking on 2012 Shinsuke Nakamura. Will you have him in that New Japan Michael Jackson kind of phase?
Yeah.
Losing that charisma, taking on 1996 Great Muta. And if you want to put a replacement, I would love to see this match. That never happened. Tetsuya Naito as the Los Ingobernables character in his real early stage, or right now, taking on Shinsuke Nakamura back in New Japan.
Heck.
Because you got that oozing charisma and that calm sway.
Right. I'm my mind. I'm trying to think here, man. You got me thinking now. You got me thinking, Brandon.
It's a good one. I think if anyone ever hear this or ever listen to podcasts and they have their dream match in mind, I would love to read theirs too. I would love to read if they had a random one, Braun Strowman taking on Andre.
There you go. How about this?
Braun Strowman taking on 1998 Kane.
There you go. Yeah. That would be something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think here. I had a name on the top of my head, but here we go. Bret Hart, the 95, 94, 95, or 95, 96, Bret the Hitman Hart going up against that version going up against Adam Priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
I got this one. Naito again.
Mm-hmm.
Naito 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Macho Man Randy Savage 1988.
Ooh. Oh wow.
I think that would be a classic.
Here we go. Randy Savage. WrestleMania 4, or 3-4 that year. 80 Randy Savage. Going up against, oh man, I just had the name. Savage going up against CM Punk.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Bruno Sammartino, 1965, probably 1966. Hogan, 1985.
Oh yeah. That
The
dude.
two most over. Or if you want to do this one, because it never happened because I know he retired. Jesse Ventura and Hogan.
Wow. Yeah.
Because they were good, and if you want to, because they were both almost like the similar gimmicks. Because Jesse, when he started, he was trying to be the new. He always gets heat because he tries to tell wrestlers to always take steroids or something.
Mm-hmm. Like Superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah, Superstar
Yeah,
Billy Graham.
pretty
Billy
much.
Graham
I think Jesse and Hogan took from Superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah, Billy Graham taking on Hogan. But if you want to do like a gimmick and like Billy Graham taking on Rick Rude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if Naito, because people are like, oh, Naito was really good. Like I don't think anyone had that Tranquilo character. Like there was one, Jake Roberts.
Jake Roberts, yeah.
Have Jake Roberts and you can have Jake Roberts and anybody like Jake Roberts and John Moxley. I think John Moxley now is in his prime. If you want to put down John Moxley now taking on Jake Roberts, 1985, 86.
85, 86. Yeah. John Moxley versus 1997 Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That would be good. Everyone's doing the Rock and Reigns. I think that's a good meet. People love to see that. I would love to see if everyone with Punk and Stone Cold. If you want to see like the high flyers go at it,
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to see Dante Martin go one-on-one with Rey Mysterio.
Dante Martin, Rey Mysterio. Oh yeah.
1996 Rey.
96 Rey. Yeah. Yeah. Dante, he's great. I enjoy
He's got the
him.
hops. He's got the hops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And excuse me. He pulls it out. He pulls it out when he needs to as the match goes on.
He's one of the guys where he knows where to place him. He doesn't do them just because he wants to. Now you can't always know, like, oh, he's against the ropes. He's going to flip over the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think where I kind of am as a wrestler is like I love to do counters. I love to counter. So I would love to have a match with Dante where he just does that. I just slide and just blitz right back with that drop kick. Like as soon as he lands, bam.
Damn. that would be great. I'd definitely like to see you hook it up in the ring with Dante. I think you guys tear it down. You'd put on a hell of a show. You definitely would.
Yeah, it'd be really. I would literally love to, and just have. I would love to with anybody. You know, if you have like anyone close to my size, or about there, or just want to have that idea. Like Dante Martin's like he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's younger than I am, but I want to show going to Impact Trey Miguel and Ace Austin, and everybody in the X Division would be just a fantastic place to go to. I think if I ever wanted to sign somewhere and just be, a good wrestler, I would go to Impact because I have that division there to set.
Right. If you get the opportunity to do AEW Dark, I know. You definitely jump on that there.
I would. They were in Nashville, and I would love the opportunity. There's just some things I'm still not too sure of yet. I feel like I'm not polished enough. I feel like I need to have one or two things polished, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just need a name. I just need to have someone to reach out to because, like I said, I'm an unknown. Like people may not know who I am.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes I might have to take a certain risk, and that's reach out to someone that that the people, my friends that were there, just figure out like, hey, who did you contact to get that spot? Get the opportunity. But I don't want to come as that guy. Like, hey, can I figure out so I can try to get a job?
Right.
Like I would like to earn that spot.
Exactly. One name just popped in my head. You were talking about who would I like to see you in the ring with? Alex Shelley.
Yeah.
Yes. Alex Shelley. I like to see you in the ring with him. That's one guy that popped in my head right there. Alex Shelley, Dalton Castle, another one right there. Because I just watched him on Prestige Wrestling. I would like to see both of you in the ring with both of them sometime here in the next year, couple of years. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that.
I'd love to be in the ring with Dalton Castle because I look a little bit like him, and Alex Shelley because me and him, I know he bleaches his hair. He has it highlighted.
Right.
My hair's a little highlighted, and it's basically natural. I know he's probably has worked on. Mm-hmm. And me and Shelley, we have a thing for vests. We like some fur in our vests.
Yeah. You guys, both of you, I believe you can tear it up. Both of you can tear it up. That's one person I'd like to see in the ring with. You're talking about who would I like to see in the ring with? Alex Shelley, Dalton Castle. Here's another one I'm going to throw in there just because I like his 2021 run. And he paid his dues to get that IW TV Heavyweight Championship. AC Mack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
That would be real good.
Mm-hmm.
AC Mack would be real nice. And I have a lot of respect for him. I think, as he said, he's the first open gate champion. Like
he is, man.
Yeah, that's a real. That's real good.
Gotta have balls.
I give all respect, and not just the balls, but the amount of things that you have to go through and get by. I mean, he's probably heard the worst of the worst, and trust me, I've worn the fur leg, and I've had the glasses, the shades, had the model gimmick. I've heard both F words yelled at me at the top of their lungs for the gay slur and the animal slur.
Mm-hmm.
I've been called a furry by some teenagers were the worst.
Right.
But I've been called the other one, and but he's heard probably the worst, and
he probably has.
And I even though I have autism, people haven't really said the R word to me. Thankfully, the only time I've actually had the R word said to me is by real pieces of work, people that have stolen something from me and like to take their cheap shots.
Right.
No, but no, I
Look,
give them a lot of respect, and I would love that. Yeah, I like the opportunity for IWTV to have that chance.
I'd like to see it. The thing I'm excited about, I want to mention this here before we start taking it home, is the fact that uncharted territory is going to be down south for this season. Uncharted territory. They're gonna film it down south, and they're gonna film it at the TWE Arena in Red Bank. Have you ever been there? Because I pass through Chattanooga when I go up to Maryville, because I lived in Maryville for about 11 years, and I always pass by Chattanooga. But that's one place I'd like to go see wrestling, is at the TWE Arena there in Red Bank. And I've been waiting on IWTV for some TWE like content. They have not updated, which I've been disappointed about, because that's how I got into watching TWE there a while back ago. And I was watching it, and then I was waiting for new content, waiting, and they haven't put nothing out since August of 2021, I think, or 2020. No, August of somewhere in there. It's August. I think it's 2021 or 2020, somewhere in there. But I'd like to be at the TWE Arena when they're filming Uncharted. That would be awesome. I don't know. Have you been to the TWE Arena there in Red Bank?
I don't think I have,
No?
but I would be open coming down. I would be open to coming down to Red Bank and experiencing it myself. And hey, if you're there and I have my fur leg on, that would be the opportunity to see what everything you kind of seen on the computer in person. It'll be like the matches where like, oh, this is what the kid means when he does like all these unique stuff and tries to feel the crowd and talk at our show. Like, how much was talked in the back? I'm like, probably none. maybe like what the finish could be, what the start could be, and how they get into some theory. But the only thing I always do is like when I've also feeling the crowd is like I always have a plan. And I asked this to Rhino during a seminar for Grindhouse, and it was awesome. And that was, what's better, calling in the back or calling in the ring? He said, well, it's more, it's something. And I'm not going to give the answer because I just kind of want to keep it between the people that were there. And but I always like to go in with a mind where you can feel the crowd and allow yourself to adapt to situations that could happen out of nowhere. So I like a B, and C, the start, middle, and end. Whatever is in between A and B and C, just go from there. You feel it and have your five moves to be able to do whatever you want, but just know when to hit them. You may not need to use all five, but you have five in your head to do at all times.
Right. That makes sense there. When I was talking to PJ Savage, and I brought up one of his matches he had against Chris Taylor, it was totally different from what was planned before that match. He was supposed to be a heel. Chris was supposed to be a face. As soon as PJ walked out there first, they were popping for him. And as soon as he got in the ring, he's like, "Oh boy, we gotta flip this." Soon as Chris came out, he was all heel. He flipped it on the fly, and they got in the ring there, and they went with what the crowd wanted. They cheered PJ, but they booed Chris, and it was supposed to be the other way around. And they made it work, man. And it turned out to be one hell of a match. But I agree with you.
It's always fun to watch, but you'll know those heels and those workers that even though they didn't hear the reaction they wanted, they know how to get into it. They can easily get into it. Like, oh, you guys cheered for me at the very start. I got something in mind for you. And your girl gonna hate me for this, and cheer him on. And because I always go by the code and the wording, and you need to get the person elevated. If you don't elevate the person, you're not doing your job.
Right.
If you don't get them to like who you're wrestling, like I wrestled Shoot Taylor, he probably was over to begin with, but he was more over when it was done. When I wrestled Dusty Gold in OVW in a dark match, he wasn't known. He wasn't known to the OVW crowd. In a 5-man match, he went from being someone that people kind of didn't know to he was really over with the crowd. And what did they do? They liked me. I was over with them. But midway in the match, I turned heel, and when I won the match, I was booed out the building. They hated my guts.
Don't you love it?
And I walked about it like, that's how you do it. and I don't have film like footage of that match, but I'm so mad I don't. And that's kind of why I always don't talk about OVW that much inside, because people that talk about matches during TV, I know it's stressful.
Right.
I don't talk about it much anymore. I don't talk about matches that much. I was like, I would like to talk about the match 3 times. What to do, maybe tweak it, final cut. Just like a paper. And if you talk to me about the match 5 times, don't be shocked if I have an irritated eye. I'm like, I know my job. I know what to do. I got the match. I will tell you the match, and we will go from there. If we get lost, I got you.
Right.
I've been doing this. It's Simon Gotch told Enzo. But my words. I've been doing this for 4 years. My memory is pretty good. There's no reason to go over this 5 times.
Exactly. When I was in the back at a show 2 years ago. I was in a show here in Florida, and I was in the back, and I got to be in the back with a couple of the boys that I knew I was good friends with. So they had me back there, and I'm hanging out. They're getting ready for their match. So pretty much they bring in the guy who was supposed to do his part in the match. They talked with him, and they went over their match 10 minutes. It took about maybe 5-10 minutes to get everything straightened out. Once it was done, it was done. He left. They hung out and waited, got ready, and waited for their time to do what they were supposed to do. I'm looking around, and one of the guys says, "You notice something?" And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Over there." And he pointed. There was about 4 guys talking about the same match for about 30 minutes. 30 minutes, still going over. Excuse me, going over the match. And the one thing I kept noticing was they'd run through the whole match, and then they'd go back and start running through it again, and then, oh, I could do this. How about this? It just kept on for 30 minutes. Back there, and I'm looking, and my friend of mine who is a veteran, who's been in it for a long time, over 20 years, said, "How long it take for us to get our match done?" I said, "Pretty much about 5, maybe 10 minutes tops." He's like, "Exactly." He said, "I noticed you've been kind of looking." I said, "Yeah, I've been hearing them putting their match together." I was like, "They've been going at it for a long time." I was like, "Are they doing an Iron Man match?" I was just sarcastically, and he's like, "No." He's like, "We pretty much know what we're gonna do, and that's it. We're pretty much gonna do like that. Anything else, we'll call it. If we have to." Yeah. And he's like, how much do you need to add in a 7-minute match? That's the way he put it.
Here's what you need to add in a 7-minute match. This is what you need to add. Your personality. You need to know where to place your personality. When I'll send you a link to the match for Action Plus, you're gonna see one thing, is when I pause and I interact with the crowd. When I pause, interact with the crowd, when I match with Cash Jackson, you're gonna see the character. You're gonna see me working with the people because I'm getting my personality over. What people think about today is I'm gonna do this move, this move, this move, this move. They need to start working on the personality because that's what gets over to people, is your personality. How do you think I became a heel to a face almost everywhere I went to? Because I had a personality that just attracted people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that mentality of, okay, I got this, now we can just figure out the rest out there, you're going to struggle in the moment that you realize you have to do that. And when I say I've been doing this for 4 years, I don't need to rehearse it 4-5 times. Most times it's a 5-minute match. That's 3 minutes that's 3 times just to go over it. More than that, it's ridiculous to me. You can't do it 3 times. It's going to struggle.
Right.
Do it.
Right.
If you can't do it 3 times, it's going to struggle. I remember Derek and I having 10 minutes before the show started. The match we're going to show you after the recording. 10 minutes. Show is about to start. National Anthem is playing. We have 10 minutes and we talk about it 1 time. Maybe twice. And we're good. Go out there and kill it.
That's great. That's how you should be.
My first year in wrestling was with Derek in that match.
Nice.
My first 6 months.
Nice.
And
yeah. I'd like to see that, man. Brandon.
There's a moment you see me disappear in the match completely. Like you see me get chunked and just you see blackness and I just disappear.
Man, I can't wait for you to send me that match. I can't wait for you to send it to me. I definitely can't wait to watch it. But man, this has been great talking with you. I know we've had some hiccups tonight, but we pretty much kept it. You know, I got a little bit frustrated here trying to go live and everything and stuff. But you know, it's sometimes you gotta realize it's the conversation is what's really, really important, and that's what pretty much it is. But I know, like, going live, we would get a pretty good audience, you know, interaction. But dude, I love it like this here, just me and the guest just talking, and then the content will be put out there and people can listen to it. They can listen to it. They can watch it. I think, you know what I'm going to start doing with like this video software? I'm going to kill it, man, because it's too much of a damn hassle. This is why I went straight to audio. Because you hit record and that's it. Video talking, you know, you can video chat, which is great, but man, I'm going to go back to just straight audio and just video chat with my guest and not record the video part, because the conversation and the words are more important. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed you were getting frustrated, and I was like, and I just want to go. I was like, oh, we're still gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a conversation. We gotta get off this little bumpy road and go into the smooth path. Or we're on the interstate, we're driving, and we're hitting like that bumpy part of the road, letting us know we're off of it. We're just trying to guide back into it and get into the smooth patch. Yeah, there will be those little bumps, those little creeks and ditches, but we'll be on that smooth path and no worries. So I wanted to kind of get us into the motion more with the questions and get us into this casual conversation.
Yeah. This has been a great casual conversation. It has.
Yeah. And we came with our own questions, like the people in their primes that go one-on-one. I think we sparked some ideas today to some people like, oh, I would like to see Randy and Naito go at it, or Naito and Roberts, Stone Cold and Moxley and Nakamura and Muda.
Yeah.
Like something like that. Like we probably would spark some ideas and have some dream matches too. Like I would love to get in the ring with Shelley and love to get in the ring, and go in promotions, like go to new places, like any places that would like to kind of see in person or get to know the guy, like that is Brandon Wolfe. I'm not a hard man to reach out to. I'm not a hard man to talk to. I'm very easygoing, and I'm very not charming, but I'm very, very likable in a way. Because Rhino, not Rhino. It's like Ronnie said. If you watch the matches, it's always those little things that are really good.
Yes, they are. I agree, man. I definitely agree. It was fun having you jump in there on the last few minutes of that podcast. That was crazy. That was a really fun episode. But what I like about tonight is the casual conversation that we had tonight here, this was great and everything and stuff. It always is. It always is, man. I love hearing you talk about the promotions and just your mindset about independent wrestling. My dog's going to get a little bit uproaring there. He agrees with me. My dog sitting next to me. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's making that. Yep, he's making that sign. He's like, I gotta go, mark a tree. So we're gonna end it right here. You mentioned upcoming events at the beginning of the show. Do you want to remind people again on any of your upcoming events to look forward to and your social media?
Yeah, if you want to follow my social media, I am Brandon Wolfe on Facebook. There's a Facebook page that's Brandon Wolfe Wrestler. Brandon Wolfe Wrestler is the name on my Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitter, it's Brandon Wolfman. I have a little Snapchat, but I keep it to myself because that's kind of my own personal way of connecting with some people. YouTube is Brandon Wolfe Wrestler. If you want to see matches of me, that IWA TV, just put down Brandon Wolfe. Just put down Brandon Wolfe Wrestler on YouTube. You'll be able to find a few matches, some that I can. If you want to see some matches, I'm easy to reach out to on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and I'm easy to message back. Just don't be weird, don't be creep. Upcoming events, Monticello, Kentucky. It is going to be this Saturday. The show is at 7:30, I believe. And if you're close to those areas, please come down. I would love to see as many people there as possible. Just come there and watch some good old-fashioned wrestling. March 11th, Ferguson, Kentucky. It is for Triple Crown Wrestling. It's a pretty big show. We have Johnny Swinger. I'm going to be tagging with Tatanka and Boogie Woogie, Jimmy Valiant, the son of Gary Valiant. Gary Valiant, the son of Jimmy Valiant. And then a really good 8-man tag match on March 12th. It'll be Caverna High School in Cave City, Kentucky. It will be having a meet and greet at 6 to 3 with the Boogeyman, Johnny Swinger, Mason Marie, a guy from someone from NWA. I felt bad. He was the guy who always had crazy hair. He had a thing with May Valentine. And it was the retirement match of my pops in wrestling for me. A good old veteran's been doing it for 32 years, Vic the Bruiser. And at the end of the month, the last Sunday of every month, is Grindhouse Pro Wrestling. And this month, I believe it'll be again March 27th. And it'll be the start of the tag team title tournament. And I plan to, with cash, to win the Grindhouse Tag Team Championships.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it, man. I am looking forward to it. And as always, Brandon Wolfe, thank you for coming on the Everett Lee Show here tonight. And before we head out into the sunset, before we take it home here, I want to mention everyone, you can subscribe to the audio version of the Everett Lee Show over on Amazon Music, Podbeam, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, and on iTunes. And you can follow Everett Lee Show, Facebook, Everett Lee Show, Twitter at the Everett _Lee, Instagram Everett Lee, and YouTube Everett Lee. And Podcasting Network, your top source for independent podcasts. And be creative, be yourself. Head over to podcasting.net, where you can check out many shows such as the Everett Lee Show, Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast, the Imaginarium with Scott and Todd, Verbal Shenanigans, Horror Pop After Midnight, and many, many more over on podcastcity.net. Follow them on Twitter at podcastcitynet, Facebook, Podcast City Network, and Instagram, Podcast City Network. And that is it for this episode of the Everett Lee Show. We'll see you again next week with my guest will be none other than independent filmmaker Thomas Ryan comes back to discuss the return of the Theater of Terror. He's been working on some stuff and can't wait to hear what he has to say about the new anthology coming out. We got a taste of it last year on ELS Uncut, but Thomas Ryan's coming back on to talk about that horror anthology, so be sure to check out that episode when it drops next week. And I'll see you again next week for another episode of the Everett Lee Show.